So now you have that situation going on where you have your first round pick not reporting to camp, not signing a deal. It's just a disaster. I'm really curious. Will Joe Burrow eventually ask out?
Man,
I'm really curious because if they continue to go to this trajectory, we all know Joe Burrow. He wants to win. Jamar Chase wants to win. I don't see any scenario where he just continues to allow the Bengals organization to do business this way without any repercussions. Let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals. This team is weird, very weird. Let's see here.
one second. Let me refresh my thing right quick.
Oh, it's all good. I'm getting everything right now situated. Okay, here we go. Cincinnati Bengals. Let me share my screen. All right, here we go. All right, so Cincinnati Bengals, as we all know, their offense is going to be elite. They re-signed Higgins, they re-signed Chase. They have a nice little slot receiver. I think who is this guy? He played for them last year. I think they drafted him. Was it last year? That was his first year or second year. Regardless, they have a good offense. Then you have Chase Brown. He came to his own last year. That's my guy. I drafted him last year. Fortunately, it didn't propel me into playoffs, but it's all good. But Orlando Brown, I mean, he's offensive line is okay, not
It's a
terrible.
good team.
It's a good team. It's a good offense. I'll say it's a good offense. Tight end is all right. I mean, their offense is good. It's gonna be good. Defensively, yeah,
Some work needs to be done
yeah.
for sure.
It's not the greatest.
Actually, I'm gonna rip the band-aid off. The defense is terrible. It's honestly terrible. They first of all, let's get the elephant out the room. They have no pass rusher. Jamar Stewart hasn't participated in any team activities. Trey Hendrickson, they said they started having discussions about a contract negotiation, but no update on that front. And after what TJ Watt just got paid, I know he's not going to want TJ Watt money, but the price might have went up just a tad bit in that department. This defense is terrible. I mean, just flat out terrible. It's maybe one dude on here with the ham sandwich. You still have a Geno Stone starting safety for you. He was god awful last year. Like this is bad. And this is why I tell them that I know that you keeping the trio of Burrow, Higgins, and Jamar was top of the list for them, but like that's not how you build a competitive roster. You don't allocate that much resources to three players on the offense, especially two of them, a number two receiver at that, and T. Higgins, great talent, but like we all know Jamar is the guy. You could put not almost anybody, but you could draft a dude and he could probably put up some of them T. Higgins. And T. Higgins, it's injury concerns. So I don't understand what the Bengals was doing this offseason. Then, like, your first round draft pick not showing up. Your second round draft pick, I don't even know who they drafted in the second round.
They drafted a linebacker, Demetrius Knight from South Carolina.
I don't know anything about this dude game. So I'm not even going to speak on that. But they're just in a bad spot right now on that defensive side of the ball. Like, it is, wow.
It's pedestrian to say much. They're gonna have to score again, like last year. They're gonna have to rely heavily on that offense in order to generate any type of wins because defensively, outside of Hendrickson and if Stewart comes back, outside of those two, potentially, who else is going to step up to the plate? I don't see the secondary stepping up. I don't see the linebackers really stepping up. Is really looking bad right now for the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow he's going to have to try to overcome yet again another season. I don't see it. I don't see it. I agree with you on the Higgins point. I think they waited a year too late. I think Higgins, they should have tried to trade him last year, the season prior, because again, when you're having a guy on a franchise tag, what does that tell you? That tells you that you guys are in a standstill. You can't figure out what number best fits both sides. And then when you did have a figure out a contract, it was way too much for a number two receiver. You're paying him number one receiver money for being a number two receiver. I like T. Higgins, but in my opinion, I'm not paying him number one receiver money to be my number two.
Well, he got 30 mil.
Yeah, well, let me see. Let me see his
28 is it
contract.
28? It's 28 or 30. I think it got kind of like around what Brandon Ayuk got.
He got a lot of money. Let's just say that he got a lot of money, and it's going to hurt the cap for them going forward. I didn't like the move. I think they should have traded him. Remember that draft where they had a bunch of really good receivers? I think that was the perfect draft for them to trade T. Higgins and go after one of those receivers in the draft. They had, remember, that was the Keon Coleman, that was the those other receivers there in the draft. It was a lot of really good receivers that year, and they just elected to keep T. Higgins. I don't get it. I don't get why they would do that, especially when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow and you already have Jamar Chase. I don't get the point because now
T. Higgins is getting 28 mil a year, just about, and 40 of it is guaranteed. So it's 115 over 4 years. 40 is guaranteed. 30 was promised at signing. So they do have an out at least.
but still, if you're trying to compete this year and then last year as well, it would have behooved you to already trade T Higgins and then get some draft picks back. Because when I look at their previous draft, they had one, two, three, four, five, six. They only had six draft picks. How are you going to build a roster with only six draft picks? You're going to need more than that if you want to compete, especially when you're hard capped. I just think it's just bad. It's just a bad move for the Bengals. I would have traded T Higgins to try to get more picks, draft a receiver. I would have traded him after the 23 season instead
Can you
of waiting.
turn your mic up a little bit?
Oh, my fault. I probably got to move it closer. I would have traded him
Yeah.
after the 23 season. Stop going to the route of franchise tagging him because that's never going to work unless you're going to overpay for him. And that's what they did. They overpaid for him. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is what bad franchises do. And then you have the Shamar Stewart situation. They can't come to a contract deal because of the terms of the agreement. I forget what it said. I think it was something to the realm of
It was
that
about guarantees.
it was something about if he gets injured.
Yeah,
If he,
he can forfeit his guarantees.
right, and I believe that's the first time they ever put that in a contract
I think
for a
I
player.
want to say this is the first year they did that.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. So yeah, it's just bad. I wouldn't have stepped on that field neither.
So now you have that situation going on where you have your first round pick not reporting to camp, not signing a deal. It's just a disaster. I'm really curious. Will Joe Burrow eventually ask out?
Man,
I'm really curious because if they continue to go to this trajectory, we all know Joe Burrow. He wants to win. Jamar Chase wants to win. I don't see any scenario where he just continues to allow the Bengals organization to do business this way without any repercussions. So,
the organization notoriously cheap, bad
yep.
facilities, training. The medical staff is questionable because people keep getting hurt, and they don't even want to pay the players that like Trey Hendrickson. They don't even want to pay the rookies. So I mean, what direction is this team really headed towards?
They should have traded Trey Henderson, try to get some draft picks for him. It's just stupid stuff that they're doing. Like Trey Henderson is an amazing player, but you had one of the worst defenses last year, and he was leading the league in sacks. Wouldn't it behoove you in a edge heavy draft and an interior defensive line heavy draft to just trade him and then just draft a bunch of edge rushers or interior defensive linemen and rebuild your defense in that scenario? Why wouldn't you do that? Don't get
He
like
drafted one edge and said,
I
"All
don't
right,
I
that's
don't get
enough."
it. I don't get it. I don't get the logic of some of these teams, especially the Bengals. Trey Henderson is an amazing player, but edge is it's not a scarcity. It's not in a scarcity where there's not a bunch of great edges. We're getting a lot of great edges this year, this past draft. Go after the edges in this draft or go after the interior defensive lineman because that's how you win in the NFL. When you have a bunch of really good edge rushers and a bunch of really good interior defensive linemen, and you just elect to not do that, that's just malpractice.
Trying to win, having shootouts every year, every week is not the play. It's good for fantasy football, but winning the Super Bowl, not so much.
They acting like there's like an actual luxury. The way that they doing business is like they think that there's a luxury tax in the NFL and they can go over the cap and enter the luxury tax. But guess what? They can't do that, and they would never do that because the ownership is cheap. I just don't understand their philosophy. It just blows my mind. It really does. If you're a cheap organization, wouldn't it behoove you to just trade T. Higgins and trade Trey Hendrickson and try to fill those spots in the draft? But no, you don't do that.
It's it's
I don't
it's
get this team.
it's insane. They are. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what their cap, like if they're under or over the cap.
Let me see. You looking at spot track?
Yeah. How do I see that as?
So let me see. They have 6 million in cap space now.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, this is according to the 2024 cap table. Let's see, 2025. It says in 2025 they have 32 million in cap space.
and they're still this cheap.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know.
They have the eighth most cap space, and they're okay. Whatever.
I don't know, man.
I
I
don't
really don't know.
understand.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Anywho, let's move on. Let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time